Good afternoon, everyone. As you can see, I'm outside. Um, the weather has been really nice today. Probably shouldn't be out here because of all the pollen, because I'll have a lot of allergies, but um, it is what it is. It's just nice to have a change and be outside for a little bit. We had our food pickup today, and um, that went very well. We had a lot of volunteers, a lot of help, and so we enjoyed being out in the cooler weather instead of the heat. So it was pretty nice. But this is part two of my video of us walking in the helicopter park, and I'm gonna share something with you that I thought was something that everybody should think about, and I guess needs to think about. Um, have you ever thought about um, being you, being unique, and everyone is unique in their own way? And I know with TV and all the things that we see on TV that's geared toward young people and wanting them to be a certain weight and look a certain way, and all the makeup that they should be wearing. It's teaching them how to really be, I guess I want to say fake, but I know everyone wears makeup and we all have a sense of who we are, but it's okay to be unique. And so I think I wanted to share some things with you about that. Um, don't let anyone tell you that you have to be a certain way. Just as with TV, don't let them, tell you that you have to be this way or you have to be that way. You need to be unique. You need to be who you are and what you feel, and don't worry about what people think. What makes us genuinely exceptional is how we spend our time, understanding our thoughts and energy, and how we acknowledge and respond to our daily encounters with people and circumstances. Your ability to evolve as a person and cultivate how extraordinary and unique you are is such a wonderful gift. And if you can embrace that, that's awesome. Some people end up with a complex as to what they should be, and they don't live up to the expectations of what the media and TV tells you should be. Each one of us is one of a kind of a puzzle consisting of pieces of personality, emotions, life experiences, and intelligence, and how we view the world differently. Because we all have different opinions about so many different things. And it's okay to have a different opinion. I know people argue a lot because they have different opinions, and some people just can't handle someone being different than them. But it's all good, and we need to respect each other's different beliefs and opinions. Our distinctive elements make us unique in our own way, while some may try to blend in with the crowd, and others stand out in another way, but they remain their unique individuality. Regardless of one's path in life, your character to build and experience life, your journey will somehow leave its mark on the world. So it's important for you to be yourself and not try to be someone you're not. What exactly makes you unique? Or what exactly makes me unique? What will people remember about you? And what will they remember about me? What will your legacy be when you're gone from this world? We all want our legacy to be something amazing. We don't want to leave this world with people having a bad impression of us, and also we want to try to do the right things. And so the way we deal with things and the way we interact with everyone else will kind of determine how people will view us. For instance, your personality. Your personality makes you unique. I mean, some people may be very quiet, some people may be loud, and, um, not really socializing with everyone. Some people are off to the side, some people, by themselves, some people in groups of one or two, and some people in groups of 7 or 8 because they like bigger crowds of people around them. Um, your personality is something that shapes you as a person from the moment you're born and all the way up until the age you are now. So, um, when you think about that, whether you're 25 or whether you're 65, um, your personality has molded you into what you are today. And um, some people, some people have an awesome personality where they're um, very outgoing and they love people, and they can just do anything. Whereas others are kind of um, quiet. They don't talk a lot. They just stay to themselves pretty much. But it's all good. I mean, whatever kind of personality you have, it'll all work out to mold you to who you are. Um, what other people see about you and notice when they connect with you. Some things like your attitude, um, your humor, your thoughts, beliefs, your character, your behavior, your personality traits, and charm are uniquely your own. And you hear some people talk about their friends, and no matter the age, they talk about their friends and say, "Oh gosh, they're the life of the party. They love to joke around all the time." And then you have another friend who is um, very quiet. They sit back and watch everybody else and what's going on, and don't have much to say. And then you have those people who want to be loud and boisterous. They when they walk in a room, they want to let people know they're there. So there's just a variety of different personalities. Also, something that helps to mold you into who you are is your experiences in life. Uh, if you've ever thought, nobody in this life has the same experiences as someone else. Um, Not one person can say, well, I had that same experience, because everybody experiences things differently. Everyone's past, present, and future life events are a considerable influence on shaping one's uniqueness. Each of our experiences helps us determine how we interact with the world, and all through your lifetime. Your experience is beneficial because you can learn to identify patterns and know how to react appropriately. Have you ever been in a place, or somewhere with someone, in a restaurant with someone, and they reacted to something just really, really harshly, and you're sitting there and you're so embarrassed because you think, how can you do that? You're embarrassing me, because they're loud and they want to argue with someone about the food, or something just wasn't quite right. The meal cost too much or something like that. I know I've been around people like that before, and it kind of makes you want to crawl under the table. But that's part of their personality. They take things more harshly than others, and they deal and interact differently than you would interact. So that's something else that molds us into who we are. May not be the best trait in the world, but we are who we are. Um, your attitude, your attitude about life is a lot a part of it. Your attitude directs how you grasp life and how you interact with the people around you. Your thoughts, beliefs, influence, and self-talk can help shape your mindset. Is your habitual attitude negative or positive? I have some friends who I always say they're so negative because, instead of looking at the positive side of things, they look at what can go wrong and just negative about it. Because both negative and positive attitudes are contagious, which means it affects the people around you, craft it in a way that won't hinder you from what you can accomplish in life. Because if you're around someone who is negative all the time, then it sort of migrates over to you, and you tend to, be negative about things. And before you know it, you're acting like they are with your attitude and all. So it's always good to be positive about everything instead of seeing the worst side of something. Perception. Your glimpse at life is not going to match up with anyone else. That's, understandable. No one has lived your days and experienced life in the same way that you have. Our perception is uniquely our own, and some may have the same thing, but for the most part, it will always vary slightly differently than others. How you think and feel is your unique perception of the world. And I know it's saying that no two people have the same life experiences. I experienced the loss of a child, and my experience in dealing with my son's illness and his days in the hospital, we spent a lot of time in the hospital, in and out of the hospital, all through his 11 and a half years. And so my experience with that, of course, was I tried to be positive as much as I could, but we were dealing with a lot of negative things that came about, in his life because he had a heart problem. And so my experiences were different than someone else who was going through maybe the same thing. I think we all try to see the best side of everything and the most positive side of everything, but sometimes it's hard to do that when you're facing different challenges, and when it's with your child, it's even harder. But dealing with those things in a positive way can help to shape you in the future to be able to handle other things that come in your life that's hard to deal with. In our genetics, our genetics play a big part in how we are because we're all different genetically. Heredity and environment help shape us, and it's clear that no one is alike. So we may have features, characteristics that we inherited from our parents that equally makes us unique. Embrace it with open arms, because what makes you unique. Genetics plays a really big part, because it would determine whether you're going to be a blonde or a brunette or a redhead, whether you have blue eyes, brown eyes, green eyes. It's just, it's all in the genes of your parents and your ancestors before. So those things, we can't control, because that's just the way God made us. But it does play a part in how you are uniquely you. Some people are not satisfied with their hair color. Um, they want to change it, and I, for one, changed my hair color. My hair was kind of a mousy brown. I call it a mousy brown, but I just never did like it when I was older, and I thought, I would try something different. And so I decided to go blonde, but um, still, whether we change our hair color, or, what we do to ourselves, we are still unique, and we still have the same personalities that we were born with. Um, Habits, oh gosh, some people have so many bad habits, and I'm sure I have quite a few bad habits. One of my bad habits is, and this is kind of silly, but I love Dr. Pepper. So my husband says I'm addicted to it, but I love Dr. Pepper, and so I think I have to have a Dr. Pepper in my refrigerator at all times. Um, I mean, that's just part of, me. It's part of my makeup, the uniqueness. Some people like Diet Coke. Some people like regular Coke. It's part of who we are. Um, how we spend our time uh, on a regular basis will differ sometimes from what other people do. Our daily routine is the things we frequently do to help establish our unique aspects. So that's interesting. I thought that was interesting. That habits can play a big part in your makeup, your genetic makeup. I mean, it's like, um, if you have a habit of going to bed at the same time every night, getting up at the same time every morning, that's part of your routine. And you know, you my Cindy, that works with me at the center, her and her husband have a set time that they eat every evening, and that's 6 o'clock. I can't stay on a routine like that. I guess I just, eat when I get it fixed, and we eat about the same time, but we don't make it a rule that we have to eat at 6 o'clock every evening or 5 o'clock every evening. Uh, if we have things to do, we do those things, and then we'll eat when we get home. But some people just have that set routine of eating at the same time every day. Um, so those habits sort of, form the uniqueness of us too. Our goals are, it's another way. The goals we choose and set will determine a significant part of our uniqueness, because we all have different desires in life. Some of us wanted to be a nurse, some wanted to be a doctor, some want to, be airplane pilots or stewardess. We all have different goals in life as to what we want to do. And my initial goal when I was in high school was to be a nurse. But that changed after I got out of high school. I ended up getting married and not following through with going to nursing school. So sometimes our plans change, our goals change as we get older, but the goals we choose will um, set will determine a significant part of our uniqueness because we all have different desires in life. Your goals will somehow guide what areas of your life you need to invest your time and energy to achieve what you want. And I know we all know what a bucket list is. A bucket list is a list of goals that we want to achieve before we die. And I don't necessarily have a bucket list because I've done some things that I never thought I would do already. Um, I hosted a foreign exchange student, and he was from France, and this was after my son passed away. And it was actually 6 years after or 5 years after he passed away. And um, the student that I hosted, his name was Nicholas Lopez, and he lived in the southernmost region of France, and I never ever thought that I would go to a foreign country. I mean that living in a small town, you just don't think you're going to be doing those things when you grow up and you're on your own. I would have loved to, but I just thought I never would. And then when he came into our lives after Kevin died, um, I thought, that's neat because I'll get to experience what life is like with a teenager because I never got that experience with Kevin. And so I did that. And then, he wanted me to come over and stay in their guest house for a couple of weeks when he went home. And he was with us for a year. So when he went home, a month later, me and one of my coworkers that I had when I worked at the high school, she went with me, and so we went to France. Went to Metz was the name of the little village we went to, and we stayed 2 weeks there. Well, I never dreamed that I would ever go to France. It was something that I would have loved to do, but I never dreamed that I would. And then when I went the first time and stayed, there's no better way to experience a foreign country than staying with a native that lives there, and they can take you and show you all the things that you know, or all the better points of interest that they can show you. And they did, and we had the best time. Well, not only did I go once, but I went 3 times. So after going the first time, I thought that'll be it. I won't ever go back. But then my husband and I went and took 2 students from the high school for their exchange trip, and we went to see Nick and stayed there. And then my husband and I went back to visit Nick after he was married and had a child. We went and stayed with them. So I've been 3 times. And those experiences for me going to France was something that really, really changed my outlook of foreign countries and seeing another part of the world that it's kind of eye-opening to see the cultures and the beauty in other parts of the country. So that sort of helped to give me some experience that was one of the best experiences in my life. And some people on a bucket list, they want to bungee jump, they want to skydive. Now, skydiving, that's definitely not part of my personality. I don't see any reason to jump out of an airplane. I'm so afraid of heights, and just the thought of jumping out of an airplane terrifies me. I don't trust myself to fold my parachute and make sure that I don't, and that it doesn't, it opens, because My luck would be it wouldn't open. But anyway, so we all have a bucket list of goals we would like to achieve. Um, and you probably have a goal of, what you want to become, and you want to live in a big house or a small house. You want to live on a farm, or just different things like that. Um, Passion. We all have a passion for different things. Um, there are a lot of things to be passionate about, but um, it gives us a reason to keep learning and to have new experiences in life. Your dedication can provide you the direction to your goal and allows you to have magnificent experiences in life. A life with passion is living an extraordinary life and lets you leave your unique mark on the world. And just like I said, your unique mark on the world is your legacy. What you leave when you're gone from this world is what people will remember about you, and the good things that you did and what you were known for. One of my passions was always Operation Christmas Child, doing the shoe boxes for the children overseas. And I was the director for that at my church, and I've always loved doing it. I don't know how different it's going to be with COVID and what the expectations will be, but um, that was always one of my passions. Um, your intuition is a beautiful uniqueness that comes through naturally. Do not resist it. It is a mixture of your feelings, experiences, wisdom, and your optimistic soul. So, your intuition sort of gives you, you have that instinct to know what you should do and what you shouldn't do based on your experiences and your wisdom and your feelings. So, that's an important part of your makeup, that makes you unique. But we are all unique, and we may have something in common, but also slightly different. Um, a lot of us have blonde hair, a lot of us have blue eyes, but still, there is always something different about us. Your uniqueness is a strength that you need to celebrate because there's only one you, and no one else in this world is like you. And you've always heard that we have a twin somewhere in the world, somebody that looks like us, um, and all that, but they wouldn't have the same makeup, the same unique personality as you do. They may look a little like you, but they wouldn't have the same personality. Um, Remember, to be like someone else is way overrated. We need we need to embrace being unique and not being like everyone else. You want to be able to stand out in a crowd and not just blend in with everyone else that's the same. That's what makes us unique, is to stand out and um, use what talents you have to um, show the world who you are. I am an extrovert. I used to be an introvert. I used to be, in school, I was a little bit shy about speaking. I still have problems speaking in front of a crowd, and that's just me. I get very nervous when I'm in front of people. And so now that I'm an extrovert in other ways where I don't have to speak in front of a bunch of people, but I've always been sort of outgoing and try to, enjoy myself and have a good time and not, be backward and shy and, stay in the corner, so to speak, when you're in a room with someone. Um, it didn't dawn on me that I was an introvert at the time when I was younger, because I didn't know what an introvert was. But um, I just sort of, when I was with my friends, I was very outgoing. But then when I was in the classroom with everybody around me and all my friends, I was very nervous about getting up and talking. Um, you think that people are going to make fun of you, and nobody wants that. And you know how kids are; they tend to be hardest on us, on each other. So that was something that I learned after the fact when I started to junior high and high school. And the fact that I couldn't see very well when I was in fifth grade made me a little more shy. And back then they used to come around and um, give you the eye exam to check your eyes in the beginning of the year to see if you needed glasses. Well, I knew I needed glasses because I couldn't see the board when I was sitting behind the person who was in front of me. We were in alphabetical order, and I couldn't see the board, so I asked her one day if I could borrow her glasses, and she handed them to me, and I put them on, and I could see the board perfectly. So, um, and I'm telling on myself here, but I told her, if you'll let me wear your glasses to see the board, then you can copy my paper when I get my problems done. So, anyway, that was our little agreement in school. And when they came around and checked our eyes, then that's when I had to go get my glasses. And back then it was the cat eye shaped glasses, very ugly. Um, so that kind of made me, after getting the glasses, and when I would go down the hall, I would take the glasses off. When I was in class, I would keep them on. But when I would change classes, I would take them off. And people would be coming down the hall waving at me, and I couldn't see them. I didn't know who it was. I would just wave back. Um, but anyway, it's those disadvantages that we have, our weaknesses and our strengths, that make us who we are. And those things you need to embrace wholeheartedly. Don't shy away from who you are and be yourself. The world will adjust to that. Your willingness to be yourself and to be comfortable in your own skin is indeed a unique trait. As soon as you start embracing everything that makes you different, then you'll come full circle and you will have complete control of your life and happiness. Don't be afraid to be different. Open your heart and mind, because you have as much value to add to the world as anyone else. And being different is a blessing sometimes. So always be yourself and go out there and make your mark on the world. And so I guess that I will see you on my next video. I don't know what that'll be yet, but we'll have something to discuss, or I'll have a craft to make, or maybe a recipe to make. I don't know yet what we're gonna do. But until then, have a good weekend, and I will see you next time. Bye. Miss y'all.